body bags were whore lies.
Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
Hey guys, happy Thursday, this is your fright speaking. Okay, so this week I am doing Cabin Fever 2016, not Cabin Fever 2002, even though, having watched it, they are the same film, okay? They changed nothing, but we'll get into this in a sec. Okay, so Cabin Fever, Eli Roth, great film. They decided to remake it 14 years later. It so didn't need one, but they did it anyway, and I watched it, and it sucked, okay? It fucking blew. But I would just like to point out that there are some redeeming qualities, maybe. So, the basic and general plot of Cabin Fever, and this actually goes for the original because they are the same film, is that we have 5 friends. They are off to a cabin to party, do drugs, have sex, all this kind of stuff, okay? They meet a couple of randomers. You know who I'm talking about if you've seen the original, okay? Meet a couple of random harbinger types, you know, at the store on the way. They get to the cabin and they're having some fun. Then a freaky old guy comes along who is sick, and we never really figure out where the disease comes from, but he has a flesh-eating virus that is killing him. He manages to knock on the door and freak everybody out, and they don't want him anywhere near them, so he runs to their car to try and get away, pukes up all this blood and shit all over their car, which is there, and they end up setting him on fire. He then runs off, and they forget all about it. Now, what they haven't banked on is the fact that he does have a seriously contagious virus, and when he runs off into the woods, he manages to die and infect the water supply that is then providing the cabin with water, meaning that the kids now are going to start drinking it. That is our entire film. The kids one by one start getting infected. They don't know where it's coming from because they think it's the old guy and he's already run off. They think they've killed him. And they're just dealing with the fact that they are responsible for this guy's immediate death, if not his long-term death, because they thought he was going to die anyway. They have to deal with this, you know. They have to figure out if they want to go home. They have to figure out what they're going to tell the cops. But what they don't know is that they're drinking contaminated water and they're slowly falling apart, literally. And it's pretty gruesome. It is super gruesome. But it's a very good concept because obviously it's that kind of fight or flight thing of like, you know, I know you're my friend and I may love you and I may think you're hot, but if I think you're going to infect me with something, even though it, you know, it's not their fault, then, you know, I'm going to take you out. And it's great because it ramps up the intensity and the kind of like, oh my god, you know, they're all just kind of losing their minds, and, you know, what do they do? They're stuck in a cabin. What do they do? They tell the cops. They can't because they were involved in the guy's death. What do they do? That's the whole film, and it's a good idea. It's a good concept. Well done, Eli Roth. You know, you did a good job. But as I said, this is a remake of a film that really did. I know 14 years sounds a long time, but it's kind of not. I mean, if this film was made in the 80s, I could understand it, because obviously the technology is different. We'd see different special effects. We'd see different format. Maybe the speech would be different from the way the teenagers talk to each other, the clothing, all that kind of stuff. But this is early 2000s. Nothing's changed, except for the fact that they maybe changed around a couple of things. One of them being that the deputy that shows up in the film, that is not really a proper main character, shows up a couple of times just to be like, you know, hey, you kids okay? What are you doing? He's a complete stoner. In this version, it was a woman. In the other version, it was a man, okay? That's pretty much where our changes end, okay? It is not exactly a shot-for-shot remake, but it is a scene-for-scene remake kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not identical 100%, but all the scenes have the same end result, you know? It might just be that they're, like, standing at that point, or they're, you know, in a different room at that point when this happens, but the dialogue's the same, and just, I don't see why you need to make a remake when you're not going to actually improve on it. That's kind of the point, right? You know, you're supposed to kind of improve stuff, and they really didn't. They didn't at all. And the Pancakes Kid, for those of you that haven't even seen or heard about the Pancakes Kid from Cabin Fever, there was a small child, no idea what he's doing in the film. He just says pancakes and he likes to bite people. Now, he was very random and very, very freaky in the first one, because you're like, what the fuck is just going on here? What was the point of that? In this one, it's like totally boring. Like, I don't know. They shouldn't have bothered putting the Pancake Kid back in, because they didn't even like make him go even crazier. They didn't even make him more interesting. It was just pointless. Really, really pointless. I was very disappointed. I was hoping that he'd do some more like kung fu or something. No, we got nothing. But yeah, I don't think there are that many redeeming features to this. Only in the sense of like, I think maybe this one was a tiny bit more gruesome. And I think there might have been a couple of other characters, like, you know, that they could take out. But it was the same as the original. I mean, no real point. I don't see a point as to why they did this. I also don't understand why Eli Roth was the producer on this and helped with the screenplay. I mean, I read that maybe he did it so that he could make sure that it sucked. Like, so that the remake was so bad that no one would like it, and they would just all hail original 2002 Cabin Fever. The one thing they did add was at the very end. It was like a mid-credits scene. Was a scene that I can only describe as them trying to maybe leave it open for a sequel. That's the only thing I can think of as to why that scene was even in there. I think they may be trying to leave it open for a sequel, sort of like The Grudge 2, along that line, you know, where there's a family member that decides they need to figure out what happened to the family member that was in the first movie, so they then go along and end up in the same position as them. I think maybe they're going to try and do that, and if they do, you heard it here first, because holy shit, I totally called that from that 30-second scene. Okay, but yeah, I don't understand the point of this film. I don't know why they remade it. I don't recommend anyone to watch it, because if you've seen the first one, good for you. Just keep that one in your head, okay? There was nothing new added to this, no point to it. It didn't bring anything to the entire concept or anything like that. And if you haven't even seen Cabin Fever, go watch the 2002 one, okay? Because trust me, this one was pointless. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you guys next week.